From the Sorcerer Supreme himself to legendary beings like Dormammu, these characters wield magic that shapes entire realities and challenges even the mightiest heroes and villains. Join us as we explore their incredible powers, histories, and the impact they've had on Marvel's magical landscape. Number 10. Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay is recognized as one of the most powerful sorceresses in the Earth's history, drawing on a unique combination of fairy heritage, centuries of magical study, and relentless ambition. As a half-human, half-fairy being, she possesses innate magical abilities, including mind control, astral projection, and the manipulation of mystical energies. Powers she has further refined through extensive training under legendary mentors like Merlin. Her mastery allows her to perform feats such as reality warping, time travel, necromancy, resurrection, omnipresence, and large-scale spellcasting, including summoning ruthless armies and manipulating the environment on both Earth and the astral plane. Morgan's magical prowess is so significant that she has been considered a candidate for Sorcerer Supreme, rivaling Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, both of whom have sought her knowledge at or been bested by her in magical combat. Her ability to access and combine various sources of magic, her fairy lineage, ancient Celtic rituals, and the summoning of powerful entities makes her a near-immortal threat capable of challenging entire superhero teams like the Avengers and altering the fabric of reality itself. Number 9. Magic. The mutant sorceress Magic stands among the most powerful magic users in the Marvel Universe due to her unique combination of mutant abilities and mastery of the mystic arts. As a mutant, Ilana can teleport herself and others across time and space using stepping discs, which are linked to the mystical dimension of Limbo, the dimension where Magic is actually the Sorceress Supreme. Her time imprisoned there and later ruling Limbo transformed her into its Sorceress Supreme, granting her access to a vast array of magical knowledge and power. Within Limbo, Magic is virtually omnipotent, wielding both black and white magic, which is a rare feat in Marvel lore. Her signature weapon, the Soul Sword, is forged from her own soul and can disrupt magical barriers, destroy supernatural beings, and evolve in power as she grows. On Earth, while not quite at Doctor Strange's level, she remains an exceptionally powerful sorceress, especially after training with Strange himself and absorbing the full energies of Limbo. The more she uses her magic and sword, the more her mystical armor manifests, enhancing her physical and magical defenses, and sometimes triggering her powerful Dark Child form, which further amplifies her abilities. Number 8. Adam Warlock. With a last name like that, he better be using some magic. Adam Warlock wields a unique combination of cosmic and mystical abilities that set him apart from nearly all other beings, magical or not. Originally created as the perfect human, Warlock possesses superhuman strength, durability, and agility, but it's his mastery over metaphysical quantum energy, often referred to as quantum magic, that truly elevates his status. This form of magic enables him to manipulate matter and energy on a fundamental level, cast spells, teleport, heal himself and others, making him a powerful quantum mage. His connection to the Soul Gem further amplifies his magical prowess, granting him soul manipulation, resistance to soul-based attacks, and access to the dimension known as the Soul World. Warlock's regenerative cocoon allows him to resurrect and evolve, often emerging with even greater powers after each rebirth. His cosmic awareness, immunity to most forms of perception, and ability to wield the Infinity Stones place him in the upper echelons of Marvel's cosmic hierarchy, making Adam Warlock not only a master of magic, but also a cosmic force capable of influencing reality itself. Now, he is ranked pretty low in this list because of one sentence on his character wiki. He relayed much of his mystical powers, however, from the Soul Gem instead of his own independent energies. Many of the other magic wielders on this list have the magic in them, so while Adam might be insanely powerful and unlocked other forms of mystic energies, that's the only thing that's kind of holding him back. But number 7, Loki. The god of mischief, or Loki, is not just one of the best dressed in the Marvel Universe, but also one of its most powerful magic users as well. This is thanks to his extraordinary mastery of sorcery and innate magical talent. As an Asgardian raised by Odin but born a frost giant, Loki possesses superhuman abilities such as enhanced strength, near immortality, and resistance to injury, but it's his magical powers that truly set him apart. Loki's mystical powers include shape-shifting, illusion casting, astral projection, telepathy, molecular manipulation, hypnosis, and teleportation, making him a tough opponent not just in combat but in manipulation and deception as well. Loki's cunning, combined with his magical versatility, has allowed him to challenge gods, manipulate cosmic events, and even alter reality itself, making him a ridiculously powerful magic user in Marvel lore. Now, there was a very troubling weakness introduced in Journey into Mystery 85. In that story, we learn that Loki's powers do not work in water, but don't worry because that was literally never brought up again, so do with that what you will.
Number 6, Witchfire. Witchfire is one of my favorite lesser-known magical superheroes out there. She's not just a magic user, but is also a musician as well. I think that's why I love her so much. She's got more going on than just magic, you know? Her Prime Earth version also happens to have one of the coolest designs, so that is also something that I absolutely love about her. She just looks so cool, and she doesn't really get hyped enough because while she has an awesome design and backstory, she isn't a character who gets written about a bunch. So there is also an air of mystery to her that I think is just great. Number 5, Detective Chimp. Detective Chimp might be a character some are familiar with, but ultimately a lot of folks out there do not know that he is tied to the world of magic. However, if you do know about him and haven't thought of him in this regard, you perhaps should not be too surprised, considering that he does get his intellect from a magical fountain, really, the Fountain of Youth. The Fountain of Youth gave Bobo not just an improved intellect, but also the ability to communicate with all animals, even gaining the ability to speak language so he could converse with humans as well, who, remember, are also technically animals. Detective Chimp, aka Bobo T. Chimpanzee, as he is also known, would go on to become one of the greatest detectives on Earth, even rivaling the detective skills of Batman. Hence why many people don't think of him as being a magically based superhero, but he is. He also has the Sword of Night, so I mean, like, this guy's, he's got a lot of ties to magic, weirdly. Number 4, Khalid Nazur. Khalid Nazur is lesser known than his uncle, Dr. Fate's Ken Nelson, but he is indeed also Dr. Fate, or one of the people to be known by that superhero name, I should say. Khalid takes up the mantle in his uncle's stead, or rather his great-uncle's stead, as Khalid is actually the Egyptian-American great-nephew to Ken Nelson. Khalid became a member of the Justice Society of America and was also part of the group known as the Justice League Dark, a magical and more secretive spin-off team from the main Justice League superhero group. Khalid would become Dr. Fate at the behest of the Egyptian gods, who chose him to take up the mantle. Before this, Khalid was simply a med student living in New York City. However, after answering the call to become the new Dr. Fate, he becomes his great-uncle's protege studying under him. Number 3, Sister Grimm. Nico Minoru has a pretty tragic story, and while she's made a good number of appearances in the comics and is likely well loved and known by Runaways fans, folks who haven't checked out that series or the show based off of it likely won't be too familiar with her. That is to say, she isn't necessarily a household name, at least not yet. Nico has an interesting backstory. Like the other Runaways, she herself is a hero, but one who was born to a group of villains. Her parents were dark magic users, and upon her running away from them, they attempted to permanently defeat Nico upon catching up to her. However, Nico wouldn't be defeated so easily. It turned out she herself was a magic user too, and the staff of one her mother attempted to run her through with was actually instead absorbed by her body. It became something that she could then use. Trying to get rid of someone with a magical artifact doesn't always work, it turns out, especially if they're magical. Number 2, Amanda Sefton. Amanda Sefton is the adopted sister of mutant and X-Men member Nightcrawler. She is also one of Kurt's major love interests. Yeah, it's weird, it's complicated, but it's a thing. Amanda was actually an alias that she adopted when she went to investigate what her adopted brother, Kurt, was up to after the death of their other brother, Steven, was claimed to have been his fault. Undercover, Jermaine Zardos, which is her real name, became Amanda Sefton, and it was during this time that Kurt would actually fall for her, not recognizing that Amanda was his sister, Jermaine, at the time. Jermaine, or Amanda, as we more commonly know her now, is a powerful sorceress and has been an ally to the X-Men, also at one time belonging to their unofficial Muir Island team. Number 1, Scarlet Witch. No, not that Scarlet Witch. This Scarlet Witch. Natalia Maximoff is the mother of Wanda Maximoff, but many people don't think about her or even know of her because Wanda's origins are so convoluted and complex. When most people think of Scarlet Witch, they think of her and her brother Quicksilver as the mysterious children of Magneto. However, this was later retconned in the comics, and it was revealed that her birth parents were actually Natalia, the Scarlet Witch, and an unnamed man, known only as the Scarlet Warlock. In attempting to rescue her children from being kidnapped by the High Evolutionary, Natalia perished. Yeah, that's also a whole other thing. So Wanda now has a birth mother who was a magic user whom she inherited her powers from, as opposed to them really being a mutant in origin, especially because she's no longer a mutant either. Since her mutant genes were created to disguise that she and her brother were actually experimented on by the High Evolutionary. Why? I don't know, he's the High Evolutionary, he's weird, I guess. Number 10, Fantasma. Not her official name by any stretch, especially considering she isn't even technically a canon character yet, or even a confirmed variant of of any kind. Who are we talking about here then? Fantasma was the name given to the Ghost Rider Champion's variant cover character that Luciano Vecchio gave to the variant he was prompted to design for the series. For the new Champions team, Marvel decided to try out a series of variant covers with ideas of what imagined sidekicks or established heroes could look like, and it's been suggested that some of the characters we see on the covers could even be making their way into canon. Regardless of whether they are considered canon or not, in regards to Marvel, I always think if a variant appears somewhere, even on a cover, it's possible that somewhere in the multiverse they could exist. And that could just be the case with Fantasma as well. After all, there are infinite realities. So if a character appears somewhere, even in a dream, I'm always like, that's probably a real character somewhere. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, be sure to show us you love us by clicking that like button. Seriously, it's good for you, it's good for me, it's good for the whole world. Number 9, Manitou Dawn. In the Prime Earth continuity, Manitou Dawn is an ancient and powerful magic user who originally came from Atlantis. After Atlantis sank, she was one of the few who survived this event and migrated, coming to America. She would end up being one of the people to establish the Native American Apache tribe. It was revealed during the events of the second volume of Justice League Dark that during her life, at one point she was approached by and marked by Hecate, being one of the chosen few to bear her witch mark, symbolizing that Hecate had stored some of her power within Manitou Dawn. Number 8, Jennifer Kale. I feel like Jennifer Kale has come a long way since her humble origins in Fear issue number 11 from 1972. There, she was basically a side character, a kind of kid companion to Marvel's Man-Thing. In fact, she reminds me of another story featuring DC's Swamp Thing, where he saved a little girl only to later find out that she was actually possessed by a demon after going on some adventures with her. Took a while. But I digress. Who is Jennifer Kale? Well, she is attached to the prophetic cult originally of the sunken city of Atlantis before it sank, another Atlantis tie-in, known as the Cult of Zered-Na. Her grandfather, Joshua Kale, ended up as the leader of the cult in the modern age, guarding their sacred texts. However, when his teenage daughter Jennifer visited and she was interested in witchcraft, she used one of his books to summon a demon. Fortunately, the Man-Thing came along and saved her from Thog, the demon she had summoned. And it was through this initial adventure that it was discovered that Jennifer had established a psychic link with Man-Thing. As a result of this adventure, Jennifer ends up being trained by Takim, once a pupil of the Zered-Na, and has continued to be a strong and magical presence in the comics. Although every now and then she flips between kind of being a powerful witch and settling down into a normal life, or at least trying to. Number 7, Tim Hunter. Tim Hunter has the potential to be the most powerful magic user in all of DC, but most wouldn't know that because he's not their most popular or well-known character. Timothy Hunter made his first appearance in the Books of Magic issue number 1 in 1990. This means that although he bears a resemblance to J.K. Rowling's magical boy Harry Potter in terms of his appearance and in terms of his origin as a child of destiny, he actually greatly predates Potter. So while some might compare the two, it would actually be more accurate to suggest that Hunter may have inspired Potter and not the other way around. Tim Hunter was created by Neil Gaiman and John Bolton. He has many contradictory origin stories that are basically all in part true, and he's destined to become Earth's greatest magic user.
Number 6, Agatha Harkness. Now, of course, we gotta mention Agatha. I mean, it was Agatha all along, right, guys? We just saw her show her true colors as WandaVision came to an end. Agatha Harkness is pretty old, as most witches ought to be. She made her first comic book debut in Fantastic Four issue 94. She was in the 17th century Salem witch trials, and what she would do is she would turn over various sorcerers to these witch haters, and her whole idea was that she made the witch community stronger by ridding it of those who couldn't defend themselves. Okay. So she had one child named Nicholas Scratch, who was a warlock. Now, in WandaVision, we meet Senior Scratchy, and there was even a deleted scene that showed him in his demonic form and in action, but they cut that because of COVIDs. Sad. She's an expert with spells, and as she gets older, even older than she already is, she becomes physically weaker, which makes sense. Your bones get brittle, you gotta drink your milk. But she does have a cat, the classic witch thing. She's got a cat named Ebony, which is a powerful extra-dimensional creature. She uses the cat to run errands, you know, having old knees and all. She's like, can you grab me some milk? Thanks. Old ladies are watching this, they're like, that was offensive. Didn't like that one. Number 5, Malekith the Accursed. Making his first appearance in Thor issue 344, Malekith was a dark elf born the 13th son to a 13th son. I'm like the second son to a second son. And that guy's name's Douglas. I'm not even nearly as cool as this guy. He was the leader of the Dark Elves, and when it comes to magic, he's a natural. He was born that way, baby. Malekith can manipulate great amounts of mystical energy for whatever reasons he needs. He can use magic to alter his own appearance. The dude at one point turns himself into mist, like the Coca-Cola mist zone at theme parks. Dude can just hang out as mist and cool you down. And if the mystic mist isn't cutting it for transportation, he can straight up teleport. And he can teleport through dimensions as well, so cool. Who needs Uber? That girl was coughing on the Ubers. She's like, oh, can I turn to mist? How do I get around town? I honestly love the look of Malekith in the comics. Thor the Dark World, I mean, least favorite Thor movie by far, but the Dark Elf stuff was fun, I think, for a little. One of my favorite tricks by Malekith is when he used magic to heal himself whilst also appearing dead, which is what I do every time I fall asleep on the bus. He does have a weakness though, iron. Yeah, his powers don't work against iron, and if he were to make physical contact with iron, it would burn his skin. So Iron Man, what's up? Not actually iron, I know guys, I know. Number 4, Morgan Le Fay. Medieval witches in alternate timelines. That should sell you enough, that's it. Making her first appearance in Black Knight issue 1 back in 1955, after Atlantis sunk way back in the day, there were islands that were left over. And on the largest of those islands, Avalon, Igraine was a sea princess who had a daughter with a man from the Sacred Clan. Man from the Sacred Clan, that's not right. The daughter being Morgan. So Morgan was taken to the House of Virgins to serve as a sea princess. They all left the islands after a young priest warned them of an upcoming catastrophe. And then the islands were drowned by massive waves caused by this volcano that exploded. It was a whole thing. She's been a recurring villain to the Avengers in the comics for a while now. And when the Dark Avengers were formed by Norman Osborn, Morgan was their first enemy to face off against. Talk about setting that scary bar nice and high. She's a powerful spellcaster, one of those spells being reality warping by using the Norn stones. She travels through time, and one of the craziest trips back through time was in Dark Avengers when she went back to take care of Doom when he was just a wee child. But she didn't take care of him. She actually instead wanted him to know why she planned on taking care of him, which is like the most villain thing ever. She's like, hey buddy, yeah, I was gonna kill you, but I didn't. Okay, bye. So crazy. Yeah, time travel is easy for her. She can even manipulate the rules of time travel to repeatedly undo her own death and return unharmed to that same battle, which has got to be confusing to whoever she's fighting. What? What? Dude, this sucks. That's amazing. And weakness also, you guessed it, iron, absolutely. Number 3, Amatsu Mikaboshi. Amatsu Mikaboshi is based on a demon from Japanese mythology. He was trying to take over Olympus and Asgard, but he got locked up for his crimes, of course. An incarnation of the primordial darkness and chaos that existed before the universe. They're also referred to as the Chaos King, which has a nice little ring to it. That sounds good. During the secret invasion event, the Earth's heroes and villains set up this God Squad, led by Hercules, to act as a defense. Now, the God Squad sounds cool when you say it out loud, but they weren't necessarily on board with this evil shapeshifter just lurking about the team, you know? He could transform into anything. He's an expert shapeshifter, and his go-to appearance just happens to be a massive creature from darkness itself. I'm taking on this form because, you know, I'm trying to be a little nerdy boy. So it's safe to say that this one was born into the hashtag villain life. Number 2, Amora the Enchantress. She made her first debut in Journey into Mystery issue 103, and her relationship with Thor is, honestly, I'd love to see this in live action. It's kind of crazy. So half the time she wants to get with Thor, you know, and then the other half she wants to take him out. So most Asgardians are based off of a real life myth, like Thor of course, but she's fresh from the mind of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And she has a pretty sweet life. She's got multiple mansions throughout the 9 realms, and she can make gold and diamonds with her tears. So even if she's sad, she's still hashtag rich. So she's really good at seducing people. For example, Scourge, she would seduce him into helping her with her evil plans, and he was so into her that he wouldn't even care. He would just do anything to help her out. He was kind of whipped. Meanwhile, Amora wouldn't follow through with her side of the deal. She would just play hard and get it. She's like, yeah, you want that? Go do something. Go cover my shift. I'm not doing that for you. Bye. So she messes with your mind and your heart. That's a villain. Now in the comics, she was sent by Odin to take out Jane Foster because the whole loving on different worlds thing, that's kind of a no-no. Long distance relationships, we don't do that. So she tried to attack Jane and Thor intervened. And then she was banished to Earth by Odin. What a story, like what a resume. Where she then joined the Masters of Evil, of course. Her tool is seduction. Just one kiss is all it takes to make you in her control. She doesn't have too much experience with hand-to-hand combat because, well, she just gets other dudes like Scourge to fight for her, which is not a bad idea at all. I'm kind of loving that system, not gonna lie to you. And finally, number 1, Scarlet Witch. No more mutants. We were all counting down the days until the end of WandaVision because we could finally, perhaps maybe see an evil Wanda Maximoff. And we did, and it was so good. She's the daughter of Magneto and the twin brother of Quicksilver, aka Pietro Maximoff. Now, she was on her father's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, but at one point she did join the Avengers. So she's a little flippy-floppy. She's one of the biggest Marvel characters, and during the events of M-Day, she spoke those 3 words, and just like that, a mass amount of mutants were depowered, or worse, that large number being 986,618, only leaving a couple hundred depressed mutants left. Now, the end of episode 8 of WandaVision had fans pretty jazzed. Agatha Harkness refers to Wanda as the Scarlet Witch, finally! But, she also references this chaos magic. What is this chaos magic? Well, Wanda in the comics got her powers through the old gods of chaos. So this god came to her the day she was born, not really a blessing, but rather it was done so that this chaos god could add to Wanda's powers and then later use her as a vessel that he could one day possess when she was fully grown. And we see this take place in Avengers issue 186. Now with WandaVision's ending, it seems like the MCU is going to start kind of leaning into this villain role for Wanda, because last we saw her, she was studying the Book of the Damned. There was ominous music, she was floating, doing some witch stuff. I'm excited for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'd love to see Elizabeth Olsen go dark. She's an amazing actor, holy. Kicking off the list at number 10, Mojo. Making his first debut in Longshot issue 3, Mojo is known for using Earth as forms of TV entertainment for the universe. It's like The Bachelor in Paradise, but it's us. And we're like, hey, what's going on? Are we dead? And his power increases the more viewers he gets for this interdimensional TV show. So like and subscribe his stuff as well as ours. We want to keep both things thriving. So in 1992, the issue titled Mojo's Media Madness had this wild storyline where Mojo gets Rogue, Cyclops, Beast, and Wolverine to think that they are characters from The Wizard of Oz. That goes down in X-Men issue 10. It's so wild. It's kind of funny, but mostly terrifying. He's part of a race of spineless beings from a planet named after him called Mojo World. Of course, inside a pocket dimension called the Mojo-verse. We get it, dude. It's all about you, okay? Cool. So this race of spineless beings were slowly going crazy over time because TV signals from another space-time continuum were scattered into their timelines. He's a powerful sorcerer, obviously because of his list, and we're not exactly sure just how far his magic can go. To be honest, I was leaning a bit towards Mojo being the mastermind behind the WandaVision plot. I thought he had something to do with it, but thankfully it was Wanda and her powers were just finally coming through, all those crazy powers, which I'll be talking about a little bit later in this list. And before we go to number 9, if you guys could go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It's this one, not that one, so make sure you hit that one right there because it helps out our channel so much. You guys are the best. Now back to some more evil magic users. Number 9, Spiral. Rita Wayward made her debut in Longshot issue 1. She's actually a loyal servant to that spineless whack job that I just mentioned. But it didn't start that way, of course not. Ricochet Rita was once a professional stunt performer. She became friends with a guy named Longshot who was from that Mojo-verse that I just talked about. She was attacked by this insane version of herself called Spiral that was from the future. So after that was taken care of, she decided to follow her heart and go back to that dimension with Longshot. And when they got there, Longshot couldn't pull through and they both were captured by Mojo. What a dick. See, Longshot's mind was wiped for getting Rita, which is so sad already, but for Rita, it just got worse. Mojo got his scientist Ares to modify her mentally and physically. So now she's got 6 arms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, editors, you can add those or you can't add them. I know it's a lot of work. So now she has 6 arms. She turned her hair gray and now she could see other dimensions. That's crazy, quite the upgrade. She was a twisted little version of Mojo and she got trained in the dark arts of magic and body modification. And as you may have guessed, that future version of her was just that. Mojo sent her new and improved self to go back in time and attack her past self. Number 8, the Dire Wraiths. Back when the Skrulls were still in their early stages of existence, the Celestials came to Skrullos and experimented on all of these life forms. Now, some of these Skrulls grew up to become the Dire Wraiths. They studied black magic and they got out of Dodge. They were like, cool, good info, you guys are all pretty nuts, we're out of here. They used magic and technology to take on the form of other species, and they would try and take over the world with these abilities. They're bad guys. The Earth would have just been wiped out probably by these guys if Rom the Space Knight didn't have a device to reveal a Dire Wraith. It's kind of like the eyes of truth, the lens of truth from Zelda. You're like, that's a Dire Wraith right there. Nice genes, you're a Wraith. They emerged from the deviant Skrulls, and when Galactus came to their homeworld, they made it rain acid and destroyed all of his equipment. Yeah, they made it rain acid. So, they're evil. The sorcery is strong with this one, for sure. Number 7, Selene. She made her first debut in New Mutants issue 9. Selene was born around 17,000 years ago in Europe, so she's a bit old, right after the oceans swallowed Atlantis. She's known as the Black Queen of the Hellfire Club, and she blends her mutant abilities with her magical abilities. So she's quite a pain in the neck. Well, actually, if she made contact with your neck, you would turn into dust. What makes Selene so powerful yet feared is that she has life force absorption. She can drain the life forces of a human and then absorb that power for herself. It keeps her young and beautiful. Maybe that's Jennifer Aniston's secret. Maybe that's it all along. I don't know, I'm just guessing. It would make sense. Timeline, it would make sense. Who knows? But not only does the victim's body crumble to dust, but Selene takes your memories. She'll be hanging out and she's like, did I forget my phone charger? No, wait, no, that was Brian, the guy I just absorbed. Yeah, see, I lose track sometimes. Come on, let's go.
In at number 6, Snow White. Snow White is the deputy mayor of Fabletown, and is one of the main characters we follow throughout the series of fables. She was the first wife of Prince Charming before falling for Big B Wolf and getting married to him. So, what is Snow capable of? A lot, actually. She's pretty bad. For starters, she's immortal like all fables, but her magical abilities are where it's at. She is a descendant of a particularly magical line, inheriting great natural power, and she reeks of elegant energies, according to Prince Brandish. She can conjure armor and weapons, and she can fly, which is pretty darn cool. She also has superhuman durability, which allows her to be virtually invulnerable. She's been shot in the head and has survived from it. In addition to that, she also speaks German, can manage the hell out of a business, and is an expert at fencing and knows her way around hand-to-hand combat. Up next, number 5, Witchblade. Witchblade, the series published by Top Cow Productions, follows a character named Sarah Panezzi, an NYPD homicide detective who comes across a gauntlet artifact. That artifact is Witchblade, a supernatural sentient piece of armor that bonds with a female host, providing her a ton of magical superpowers in order to fight off evil. Now, the woman who wields Witchblade gets this laundry list of cool abilities. She can shapeshift, has superhuman strength and endurance, a healing factor which extends to fatal wounds, invulnerability, pyrokinesis, tactile healing, the healing of illnesses and wounds of other creatures, summoning for weapons and whatnot, and an adaptive armor which covers its host entirely depending on the situation. The armor is incredibly strong and impervious to firearms, explosives, and even energy blasts. But take that gauntlet off and oof, no bueno. Moving on to number 4, Lucifer. The Wicked and the Divine is a really awesome series. It's a contemporary fantasy comic book published by Image Comics, highly influenced by pop music, and follows various mythological deities. So of course Lucifer the fallen angel is in it. Lucifer is the devil and one of the gods of the pantheon in the Divine and the Wicked. She's pretty impressive in terms of her abilities. She's a pyrokinetic, able to produce fires as she pleases, and the ability to cause foes to combust. She can also use the ability to cause foes to combust, create entire walls of fire, or use it with such precision as to destroy bullets. She can also use this fire as a force field to protect herself, and she has the ability to grant powers to an extent, and can teleport to the underground. Speaking of the Divine and the Wicked, that brings us to our next number in at 3, Laura Wilson. The narrative of the Divine and the Wicked follows our number here, Laura, who interacts with the Pantheon, a group of 12 people who are reincarnated deities. They end up getting supernatural powers, but there is a stipulation. They will die within 2 years as part of a 90-year cycle called the Recurrence. Laura briefly becomes the reincarnation of Persephone, the goddess of springtime, vegetation, flowers, fertility, nature, death, rebirth, and of course, the Queen of the Underworld. Moving on to number 2,
Frau Tokenkinder. Frau Tokenkinder is from Fables, and she's known as the Black Forest Witch. She's a powerful member of the 13th floor in Fabletown, the group of witches and sorcerers who provide enhancements and spells that keep the community safe and cloak the magical nature of its inhabitants from the outside world. Often her spells come at a steep price. She's been around since the Paleolithic era. Her natural form is a beautiful young woman, but she normally appears as old. Also, she passed away. She's the former leader of the 13th floor. So when she was alive and kicking, what could she do, magically speaking? Well, for starters, she was immortal. She used to sacrifice 2 children a year so she wouldn't age. That is intense. She was capable of precognition, witchcraft that allowed her to self-resurrect, create her own spells, including the death curse others, of course, magical energy blast, elemental manipulation, mind control, shapeshift, transmutation, portal creation, magical tool creation, and also had an extreme knowledge of all things occult. Yeah, not too shabby. And finally, in at number 1, Anake. Anake is the personification of inevitability, compulsion, and necessity in the divine and the wicked. Anake has immense powers and is considered one of the most powerful gods in the series. She is the one who acts as an advisor to the Pantheon, informs them that they are gods, and begins their incarnation. While she cares a great deal for the others, she always prioritizes the recurrence over the lives of the individuals. So, what can she do? She is capable of divine incarnation and bestowing powers, being the one who is in charge of each individual's ascension into godhood. She grants them the divine powers. She can manipulate and project energy. She likes to explode heads, and has a great deal of control over said power. She can atomize humans if she chose to do so. She can project force fields and siphon energy, and she's got an immense tolerance to pain. She's immortal, duh, and can split her consciousness into 2 entirely different bodies. And at number 10, Punk Mambo. From the Valiant universe, Punk Mambo is a series about a hard-living voodoo priestess, raised in London, relocated to the Bayou. A mystical mercenary for hire, often helping the wayward, troubled, and damned with what afflicts them, she does it for a price, often a steep one. Mambo, whose real name is Victoria Greaves Trott, is described as a street-savvy British punk with a rich cultural history of voodoo, and she battles the forces of evil too. So, what is this priestess capable of? Astral projection, hypnosis, illusion casting, magic, duh, necromancy, longevity, she doesn't age, and unarmed combat. She also has enhanced senses. Neat. Next up, in at number 9, Blue Boy. Blue Boy is a character from Fables, a series published by Vertigo, which, yes, is owned by DC, but cut us some slack here, friends. The series features characters from fairy tales and folklore who call themselves Fables, and live in a centuries-old community within New York City after their homelands were conquered by a deadly and mysterious enemy known as the Adversary. Blue is known as a hero, and he was a former farmhand and warrior before becoming a clerk at the business office in Fabletown. And he's magical! He's immortal, as all Fables are, and carries around something called a Vorpal Blade, which can cut through most spells and enchantments. He also has a witching cloak which acts as an impregnable armor that cannot be burned, stretched, or ripped. It also has an endless personal carrying capacity and can give the wearer shapeshifting abilities. I mean, crap, hook me up with one of those please. Where do I buy on Amazon? In at number 8, Marco. From Saga. While Saga hardly feels like an indie comic these days, and is published by Image Comics, it's definitely by far one of the best and most popular series outside of DC and Marvel series. Saga is the story of a fugitive family struggling to survive a galactic war between the Wreath and the Landfall. Alana and Marco, our somewhat protagonist parents, were born on opposite sides of the war, becoming star-crossed lovers who have a child, Hazel, who narrates the series. It's a sci-fi meets fantasy, and it's got its fair share of magic. Marco was born on Wreath and has magical abilities that are quite unique. He has disintegration abilities in which he uses the ingredients of secrets to disintegrate hostile plant life. He can use binding spells to trap enemies together. He has healing abilities, but for healing big wounds he requires snow as an ingredient in the spell. Now that last one is something that he can only do to others born on Wreath if he needs to heal them. And he's also capable of electrokinesis, in which he can summon lightning strikes. Up next, number 7, Dee from Rat Queens. Dee, which is short for Delilah, is a human cleric, an atheist, and a character who hails from a family of Lovecraftian monster cultists who praised a flying squid god called Nyrioth. Nyrioth? I'm probably saying that wrong. It's a squid god, so cut me some slack. She used to be the high priestess of said cult, but having become disillusioned by the horrible things her family worshipped, she left and began to travel on her own, which is how she met the other rat queens in the series. These days she mostly uses her magic for healing, but is also capable of necromancy, and she is skilled with a dagger.
Number 6, Dr. Fate, and by extension, Naboo. Dr. Fate's possession of potent mystical artifacts, especially the Helmet of Fate, which grants godlike abilities and nearly limitless spellcasting power, makes makes him one of the most powerful people that you could encounter in the DC universe. The helmet, made of a mystical metal, not only enhances inherent magical abilities, but also allows Dr. Fate to perform virtually any mystical feat, including clairvoyance, transdimensional teleportation, and manipulation of elemental forces. Beyond the helmet, Dr. Fate wields other powerful artifacts such as the Amulet of Anubis and the Cloak of Destiny, which provide additional magical protection, strength, and resistance to chaos magic. His connection to the Lords of Order and Chaos, particularly the spirit of Naboo, which often guides him, further amplifies his power and knowledge, making him capable of counteracting spells and accessing vast arcane knowledge stored in the Tower of Fate. While other magic users in DC are intimidating, Dr. Fate's combination of artifacts, mystical knowledge, and divine patronage place him at a near omnipotent level in magical prowess, making him a nearly unmatched sorcerer in the DC universe. But not quite unmatched, because we're halfway through. In spot number 5 from the 5th dimension is Mr. Mxyzptlk. Please don't come for me on how to say this name, please. It is just basically a keyboard smash and I'm struggling. Mr. Mxyzptlk is considered the most powerful magic user in the DC universe, primarily due to his reality warping abilities as a 5th dimensional imp. His powers transcend the physical laws of the 3rd dimension, allowing him to manipulate reality itself in virtually any way he imagines, making him effectively omnipotent with his scope of influence. Unlike traditional magic users that rely on spells or artifacts, Mxyzptlk's abilities stem from his 5th dimension nature, which can appear as magic or hyper-advanced technology. He can teleport anywhere, alter matter, control time, and even create or destroy entire dimensions effortlessly. His immortality and immunity to physical harm further emphasize his godlike status. The only significant limitation to his power is that saying or spelling his name backwards banishes him temporarily back to his home dimension. Despite this, his immense power is often underutilized due to his prankster personality, which prefers mischief over destruction. Number 4. The Spectre. The Spectre is a host for the divine entity, the Spirit of Vengeance, directly empowered by the Presence, who is essentially God within DC's world. Unlike typical magic users who cast spells, the Spectre is magic itself, an almost omnipotent cosmic force capable of manipulating space, time, reality, matter, and energy on a multiversal scale. His powers include near limitless reality warping, flight, intangibility, telepathy, and the ability to traverse dimensions and timelines, making him capable of virtually any feat imaginable. The Spectre's strength surpasses that of other powerful magical beings like Dr. Fate or Zatanna, and he has even contended with universe-threatening entities like Parallax. His power is so vast that when unbound, he can shatter universes and defeat powerful gods and goddesses with ease. However, he requires a human host to act as a moral anchor, and he is subject to divine laws and limitations imposed by the Presence, including vulnerability to specific artifacts like the Spear of Destiny. Despite these constraints, the Spectre remains the ultimate magical force in DC, making most other magical users pale in comparison. Number 3. Raven. Raven is considered one of the most powerful magic users in the DC universe due to her unique heritage and vast array of mystical abilities. As the daughter of the demon Trigon and a human mother, she possesses a supernatural lineage that grants her exceptional empathetic powers, allowing her to sense, absorb, and manipulate emotions, even to the extent of healing others by taking on their pain. Her signature ability, the Soul Self, is an astral projection shaped like a giant bird that can travel vast distances, become intangible, absorb energy, and subdue foes, effectively acting as both a shield and a weapon. Beyond empathy and astral projection, Raven has mastered chaos magic, teleportation, telekinesis, shadow manipulation, hypnosis, and even limited precognition, making her a versatile and dangerous sorceress. Her training under mystical beings further honed her skills, enabling her to cast powerful spells, manipulate dark energies, and traverse dimensions. Despite her demonic heritage posing constant risks, Raven's control over her powers is so advanced that she is regarded as a skilled teacher of the mystic arts and a key member of teams like the Teen Titans, Justice League Dark, and Sentinels of Magic. Her combination of raw magical power, empathetic abilities, and mystical knowledge places her among the top tier magic users in the DC universe. Number 2. Trigon. Trigon is the father to Raven and considered way too powerful for the universe's good. As a demon of immense power, he possesses superhuman physical attributes: flight, eldritch blast from his multiple eyes, teleportation, matter manipulation, resurrection, time alteration, reality reconstruction, and universal force warping. He can shapeshift, devour souls, control minds, and create complex illusions, making him a frightening sorcerer and manipulator of mystical energy. So basically, he can do anything he wants. Trigon's power extends to manipulating the space-time continuum, accelerating entropy, and commanding vast armies of demons. He is immortal with superhuman regeneration and near invulnerability, and can destroy entire planets, and his ability to manipulate life and death, as well as his soul-draining powers, that just further elevates his terrifying status. Trigon's power is so immense that he has been compared to entities like the Spectre, and has survived battles against ultimate beings, showcasing his dominance over other powerful villains such as Darkseid. His reality warping and time manipulating capabilities, combined with his demonic and divine powers, making him arguably the most terrifying and potent magic user in the DC multiverse. And finally, Hecate. Is it cheating to put the goddess of magic on here? No. Hecate is considered the most powerful magic user in the DC universe due to her status as an ancient goddess and the source of all magic. She was one of the first gods to exist, born from the sphere of the gods, and she gifted humanity a portion of her magic, laying the foundation for all magic pantheons. Hecate broke her magic into 5 parts, branding it onto chosen women, including Wonder Woman, to safeguard her power and eventually reclaim it. Her magic is so immense that when Wonder Woman was under Hecate's influence, she demonstrated reality-altering feats such as raising buildings, reshaping cities, and tearing open portals to other realms. Actions that could have erased parts of Earth and reality itself with ease. Hecate's powers extend beyond raw magical energy to rewriting the fundamental rules of magic, controlling other powerful magical entities, and manipulating reality on a cosmic scale. This combination of ancient origin, vast magical abilities, and influence over the very fabric of magic itself cements Hecate as the most powerful magic user in the DC universe. Number 10, Zatanna. If we are starting with Zatanna, you know that this list is about to pop off. Zatanna is considered one of the most powerful magic users in the DC universe, surpassed by few due to her mastery of logomancy, a unique form of magic where she casts spells by speaking backwards, allowing her to manipulate mystical and cosmic forces with precision and creativity. Her heritage as a homo magi and descendant of powerful magical lineages grants her exceptional control over magic beyond typical sorcerers. She can perform a vast array of magical feats such as teleportation, elemental control, mind manipulation, healing, and reality alteration, often making the impossible possible. As a founding member and frequent leader of the Justice League Dark, Zatanna has repeatedly faced and overcome formidable mystical threats, proving her competence and power. Her abilities are enhanced by her inventive use of magic and her deep knowledge of various magical disciplines. While her powers rely on verbal commands, which can be a vulnerability, her willpower and confidence directly affect her strength, making her a dynamic and powerful sorceress in the DC universe. Number 9, Circe. Circe might not be a god, but they do fear her, and that's all that really matters, isn't it? She stands as one of the most powerful magic users in the DC universe due to her goddess-level sorcery and vast range of mystical abilities. She possesses immortality and can manipulate reality itself through spells and incantations, enabling her to alter minds, create illusions, teleport, and fire destructive magical energy blasts. Her signature power is transforming humans, specifically men, into animals, a nod to her mythological roots, but she can also resurrect and transmute matter at will. Circe's magic elevates her physical attributes to superhuman levels, granting her immense strength, endurance, and resistance to injury, making her a tough match even for Wonder Woman. Additionally, she wields Medusa's amulet that, shockingly, turns anyone who looks at it to stone. Her strategic cunning and ability to manipulate other powerful beings, including gods and superheroes like Superman, further underscore her dominance in the magical hierarchy of the DC universe. Circe's combination of raw magical power, immortality, and intellect solidifies her status as a persistent, nearly unstoppable adversary. Number 8, Merlin. Merlin is easily one of the most powerful magic users in the DC universe, thanks to his unique heritage, vast knowledge, and immense raw magical power. As a human-demon hybrid and grandson of the demon Trigon, Merlin possesses a level of magical energy far beyond that of an ordinary sorcerer, enabling him to wield spells and powers that few can match. He is historically renowned as the legendary wizard who aided King Arthur, summoned the demon Etrigan, and created many foundational magical practices that influenced later heroes like Zatanna. Merlin's abilities include magical manipulation, teleportation, summoning mythical creatures, and reality warping, making him a versatile and intimidating figure across multiple DC continuities. His role as a mentor and protector, along with his central involvement in major magical conflicts, underscores his status as a preeminent sorcerer whose power and legacy shape much of the mystical landscape in DC Comics. Number 7, the Phantom Stranger. The Phantom Stranger is as powerful as he is cool and confusing. He possesses nearly limitless mystical abilities, deep knowledge, and backstories. Unlike typical sorcerers, he is effectively immortal and can travel across time, space, and mystical dimensions, including heaven and hell, though he is forbidden from entering heaven directly. Now this could be due to one of his potential backstories, that he didn't take a side in the war caused by Satan, so therefore he was confined to Earth. I mean, like, the current backstory is that he was Judas, like from the Bible, and becoming the Phantom Stranger was his punishment for what he did. His powers include firing energy bolts, warping reality, pausing time, and more. Despite his immense power, the Phantom Stranger rarely interferes directly in mortal affairs, acting more as like a guide to others in times of crisis. He knows everything that happens, giving him an unparalleled edge in magical knowledge and strategy. He has even been shown to rival the Spectre, another top-tier mystical entity, in power, and has survived attacks that would obliterate most people. This combination of near immortality, cosmic level magic, and unique role as a cosmic guide makes the Phantom Stranger an incredibly powerful magic user in the DC universe. Number 6. Clea. Clea's unique heritage, extensive training, and leadership as the Sorceress Supreme of the Dark Dimension make her one of Marvel's heaviest hitters when it comes to wielding magic. As the daughter of Umar and niece of Dormammu, both immensely powerful Feltinians, aka beings born of pure magic, so of course Clea inherits a natural affinity for mystical energy, allowing her to generate her own magical power in addition to drawing from external sources. Her abilities encompass a vast range of magical feats, including telekinesis, telepathy, conjuring objects and energies, casting illusions, and way more. Clea's magical prowess is further amplified when she channels the flames of Faltine, a mystical force that grants her power rivaling or surpassing that of her mother and even Dormammu at times. Trained by Doctor Strange, it's thought that Clea can replicate any spell that he casts, making her his equal in sorcery and a protector of both Earth and the Dark Dimension. Halfway through number 5, Enchantress. We got quite a few comments in the last video about leaving DC's Enchantress out, so we will not be doing that with Marvel's. Amora the Enchantress, as an Asgardian, possesses superhuman strength, stamina, near immortality, and resilience, but again, it's her sorcery that truly sets her apart. Amora's magical abilities are considered some of the most powerful that Asgard has to offer. Her magic is so powerful that she has performed feats just cursing the entire Earth, reanimating the deceased, and casting spells that even Odin could not reverse. Amora's seductive magic, which can control men with a kiss, and her ability to manipulate minds and emotions make her a uniquely dangerous adversary. She has even hidden herself from Doctor Strange and the Eye of Agamotto. Her combination of magical prowess, cunning, and centuries of experience cements her reputation as a dominant force in the realm of Marvel magic. Number 4, and I know y'all were just waiting for this one, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is widely regarded as one of the most powerful magic users in the Marvel Universe due to his mastery of the mystic arts and his role as the Sorcerer Supreme. He wields a vast array of magical abilities, allowing him to conjure complex spells for both offense and defense, such as binding opponents, creating nearly impenetrable shields, and unleashing devastating energy blasts. Whatever the problem is, chances are Doctor Strange has a spell for it. His magical prowess is further enhanced by legendary artifacts like the Cloak of Levitation, which grants him flight, and the Eye of Agamotto, which enables him to manipulate time and reveal hidden truths. Doctor Strange's training under the Ancient One gave him access to ancient knowledge, forgotten spells, and the ability to interact with interdimensional beings and traverse the multiverse, skills that set him apart from most other sorcerers. His unique combination of spellcasting, artifact mastery, and deep understanding of cosmic and interdimensional threats make Doctor Strange a crucial defender of Earth and reality itself, earning him the reputation as the mightiest magician in the cosmos. And if we are looking strictly at the MCU, the man held off Thanos while the Mad Titan had literally so many Infinity Stones and Strange had none. Number 3, the Scarlet Witch. The Scarlet Witch is recognized across universes as one of Marvel's most powerful magic wielders due to her unique ability to wield chaos magic, which allows her to alter probability, manipulate reality, and even reshape the fabric of existence itself. Initially introduced with hex powers that caused improbable events, Wanda's abilities evolved dramatically over time, especially after she learned to channel the chaos magic, an ancient and nearly limitless force connected to the demon Chthon. This power enables her to perform feats such as resurrecting beings, warping reality on a massive scale, and even eliminating an entire genre of human being, as seen in the House of M storyline, and overpowering other powerful magic users and cosmic entities. In both the comics and in the MCU, it is stated that her magic surpasses that even of the Sorcerer Supreme, and her reality-altering abilities put her at the center of some of Marvel's most consequential events, making her a figure feared and respected by heroes and villains alike. She also has the potential to become the ultimate nexus, and if that were to happen, it could shatter space-time, which is just fabulous and not stressful at all. Number 2, Dormammu. Dormammu, I have come to bargain. Dormammu holds a mastery over mystical energies, reality manipulation, and his unique origins as a Thaltine, which are beings born of pure magic. Well, when you put that all together, it's not hard to see why he is so high on this list. As ruler of the Dark Dimension, Dormammu draws limitless power from this realm, granting him essentially limitless abilities. He is immortal, virtually indestructible, and can reshape reality itself, making him a threat not just to Earth, but to the entire universe and even the multiverse. The good news is he does have a major weakness. His powers aren't as strong when he's outside of his own realm. That doesn't mean that he's an easy target, just a more manageable one to fight on Earth. Dormammu's strength is so vast that he has personally defeated cosmic entities, rivaled gods like Odin and Eternity, and is considered far more powerful than other notorious Marvel sorcerers and demon lords. Despite his overwhelming might, Dormammu's arrogance and unpredictable temperament often lead to his downfall, but his status as Doctor Strange's most terrible foe and a universal level threat is undisputed. And finally, number 1, Shumagorath. Shumagorath is potentially the most powerful magical being in the Marvel Universe due to its status as an ancient, extra-dimensional entity that predates the universe itself. As a godlike ruler of hundreds of dimensions, Shumagorath wields reality-warping abilities that allow it to destroy galaxies and even alter entire realities, feats that place it far above most other magical beings in Marvel lore. In its native dimension, Shumagorath is omnipotent, capable of manipulating magical energy on a planetary scale, communicating telepathically across dimensions, and controlling the minds of countless beings. Its physical form is nearly indestructible, and even when defeated, Shumagorath can eventually reconstruct itself, making them almost impossible to destroy permanently. Its immense magical power, ability to command other beings, and influence over the fabric of reality itself secure Shumagorath's reputation as Marvel's most terrifying and powerful magic user.